Hello, today we are going to solve May 2023 paper question number 2. Calculate the value of inventory at 30th April 2023 using first in first out periodic valuation method. So, on inspecting the inventory records, Barsha had finds that inventory has not been valued. So, they have given about the information about the moment of inventory, and also we noticed that on quarter 4 there was some damaged inventory. So, let's start recording the inventory valuation, okay, using FIFO method. So, the balance inventory as on 1st May 2022. So, the balance of inventory or the opening inventory was 200 at 10 pounds each. So let's record that. So first we are going to do FIFO for standard. So it's going to include 200 units at 10 pounds. So then we have receipts. Okay, in the quarter 1 some receipts happened. So they got some purchases done. So let's record that. So for the quarter 1 the receipts were at 200 units at 10 pounds. So now the total balance, this will be the total balance of inventory at the beginning. Okay, 200. So they had 200 at 10 and then they purchased some more 200 at 10. Then the sales happened. So the sales we were happened at 190 units of sales had to happen in the quarter 1. So the sales units were around 190. So because we are going to use the FIFO, the first in first out inventory method, the first in I will issue the sales through the first inventory that was received from the system. So I'll issue from 200 at 10. Okay, I'm going to issue at 190 at 10, and then so the remaining that inventory is going to be 10 units at 10 pounds. Okay, and as well I'll be left with 200 at 10 pounds. Okay, next one is receipt in quarter 2 again happened. So some more was purchased. So this was purchased at 200 at 10 pounds. So let's write that inventory. Okay, so these inventory is stocked one, imagine they are stocked one below the other. So whichever is on the top, you are going to issue first. Okay, so for the sales. So then now for the quarter 2, sales was at 260 units. It has to be sold. So whatever was the first, okay, there were 10 units at 10 pounds. So I will issue that same, and then 200 at 10 pounds I have issued, they will issue, and then the remaining, okay, the remaining 210, 260 minus, so 50. So 50 units will be issued from the last 200 at 10 pounds that was bought. So you can write 50 units at 10 pounds. So the remaining is going to be equal to 150 at 10 pounds. So that will be that will come at the top of the inventory list that's going to be issued for the next set of sales. Okay, so 150 at 10 pounds. Next there was some more receipts that's going to happen. So the receipts was again at 200. So quarter 3 the purchases were, for quarter 3 the purchases were at 200 at 10 pounds. Okay, so you will place it below. So 200 at 10 pounds. This is like stacking of the inventory one above the other. The inventory at the top is going to be sold first. That's how you will do. Okay, that's how you'll do the stacking. So then next one is the sales has to happen in the quarter 3. So the number of units that needs to be sold in quarter 3 was 150. So the one at the top we have to issue. So 150 at 10 pounds was there. So all these units were sold at 10 pounds. Okay. So the remaining inventory will be still 200 at 10 pounds. So let's write that for the quarter 3. Okay. Then quarter 4 purchases were done 150 at 10 pounds. But we could see that for the standard units 50 had got damaged, which means 100 will be at 10 pounds, and for these 50 units we have to adjust because the selling cost was 12 pounds and the repair costs were at 5 pounds, 2 plus 3 5 pounds. So which means that we had to adjust 12 minus, we have to remove the repair cost. So 12 plus 3, that it will become 7 pounds. Okay. So that is the original price only, net realizable value we have to issue. We can't include the repair cost. So 50 will be sold at 7 pounds. Okay, not at 10 pounds because it had become damaged and it incurred some cost. So you will issue it only at 50 at 7. Okay. So now you have to make a sale. The sale about was 100 units you have to sell. These are the set of inventories we have in quarter 3. So 200 at 10, 100 at 10 and 50 at 7 at the end of quarter 4. In the quarter 4, this is how you have stacked up the inventory. Now let's make the sales. The sales will be around for the quarter 4. Okay, that is going to be equal to 100 units have to be issued. So these 100 units I'm going to issue from the top that has been there. So let's write, okay, first the receipts and then issue the sales. So the inventory was stacked up as 200 at 10, 100 at 10 and 50 at 7. Okay, value. Okay, that was the total inventory balance at the end of quarter 4. Now the sale has to happen. The sales has to be around 100 units. So let's issue the sales. So 100 units is going to be issued from the top. So we have 200 at 10. So on that basis you are going to issue. So 100 will be issued at the rate of 10 pounds. So the remaining will be 100 at 10 pounds, and then you will be also left with 100 at 10 pounds, and then you will have 50 at 7 pounds at the end of quarter 4. These are the inventory amount that's going to be left in the with the business, and this is called as closing inventory in the business. So now let's calculate the cost of the closing inventory. Okay. So the closing inventory value will be equal to so the closing inventories are left with 100 at 10, 100 at 10 and 50 at 7. So let's write those values. Okay, let's name this as balance inventory, okay, in the system. And now the closing inventory value will be equal to 100 at 10, which is equal to 1000, and then you have 100 at 10, that is 1000, and then you have 50 at 7, which is equal to 350. Now the total is 2350. So the value of the closing inventory for the standard is 2350 when FIFO inventory valuation was used. Now let's calculate for the extra. Okay, extra product extra. So the opening balance was as on 1st May was around 100 units at 50 pounds, 15 pounds, 1 5. So let's start recording that. So on the 1st May, the balance of inventory was 100 units at 15 pounds. Okay, 100 units at 15 pounds was the beginning balance. This suggests the opening inventory in the system. Okay, so whatever, when they ask opening inventory, you're supposed to calculate this. And how will you find the cost of sales? If you add up all your sales which has been issued, you will get COS, cost of sales. So now let's write, okay, another purchases happened. It was around 50 at 15 pounds. So in the quarter one, the receipts were 50 at 15 pounds. Now this was the balance, okay, in the quarter, and then it happened, and then so this was around 80 units had to be issued. So 80 at 15 pounds, okay, is issued from 100 at 15. So you'll be left with only 20 at 15 pounds, and then you will also be left with 50 at 15 pounds. Next is the 150 at 15 pounds they had received. So let's write that 150 at 15 pounds. Okay, now from this we have to do the sales. So 120 units had to be sold. So let's write that value. Okay, 120 units are sold from the top. Okay, from the top layer of the inventory. So 20 at 15 will be issued, and then you will have 50 at 15, and then you will have remaining is 20, 50, okay, that is 70, and remaining 50 has to be issued at 15 pounds. So which means that the remaining inventory from the system, from the quarter, okay, in the beginning of the quarter, okay, 2 will be at uh, uh, this was 150 at 15 pounds. Okay, 150 at 15 pounds. So after issuing, you will be left with 100 at 15 pounds. So let's write that 100 at 15 pounds. Then, so then you have to issue 150. Okay, then you will get some receipts in the third quarter. The receipt values are around 150 at 15 pounds. So let's write that 150 at 15 pounds. So then now we have to do the issue sales. So that was 90 units have to be issued. So let's write 90 units. 90 units have to be issued from the top layer FIFO inventory. So I'll issue it from the 100 at 15 pounds from that inventory list, and we are going to issue. So since it is 90, only 90 is issued. So the remaining 100 minus 90, 10 will be left in that inventory list. So let's write that. So that is equal to 10 at 15 pounds. Okay, 10 at 15 pounds will be left. Then you have 150 at 15. Okay, 150 at 15 pounds. So let's write these two. And there was also receipt in the quarter 4 100 at 18. So let's include that 100. The damage was only for standard units, so the extra there was none. So for the extra product there was no damage of inventory, so all the purchases were at 100 at 18. So let's include that also, and then do the sales for the 110 units, okay, in that quarter. So the sales were had to be done for 110 units. So that is equal to 110. Now how will you issue? First one is the 10 units at 15 you will issue, and then 100 units from the 15 pounds below 150 at 100 at 15 pounds. From that I will issue another 100. So the remaining will be left with 50 at 15 pounds and 100 at 18 pounds. So this will be the leftover balance after issuing. So now you add up these two. These will be the closing inventory for the extra product. So let's calculate the value of the closing inventory. So 50 at 15 pounds, that is equal to 750 pounds. Okay, so that value is going to be equal to 750 pounds, and 100 at 18 is going to be equal to 1800. So let's write that. So 100 at 18 is going to be equal to 1800. So that is equal to 1800. Now let's add these two values, 1800 plus 750. So if you put it in the calculator, you'll get a value of around 2550. Okay, when you add up these two values, so that will be the closing value of inventory for the extra, okay, for the product extra. So let's write the closing value of the inventory at around, okay, the closing value of the inventory at around 2000.